And that's what it's all about, the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Welcome to NBA Countdown. We're waiting for the finals to continue. Maria Taylor alongside Paul Pierce, Adrian Wojnarowski. We've got Jay Will and Jalen Rose here at the Seaport District of Pier 17, brought to you by Heineken. And I just heard in my ear moments ago that Bam Adebayo is going to get the start. But the question is, how effective can he be, Woj, in this matchup with the neck and shoulder injury?
Maria, I'm told that his range of motion with that left shoulder has really improved over the last 48 hours. I think the question for Bam Adebayo is going to be is, what happens when he gets hit on that shoulder and that neck? Dwight Howard, LeBron James, that big physical Laker team, how does it handle the physicality? But he's as important of a player as the Heat has, and if he is able to play well, listen, it gives them a real chance defensively on the boards, and certainly what he's brought offensively in this series, a 20-10 player throughout the postseason.
I don't think you can play Dwight Howard if you have Bam Adebayo at the 5, just because of the versatility that he provides and how they use him in dribble handoffs and pick and rolls and things of that sort. And also for Anthony Davis, like, that's a physicality matchup for him against Bam Adebayo. But I like what Miami did in Game 3. They started Jay Crowder and Anthony Davis. He met him early every single time. And if you notice, when AD got post up, he didn't post up deep. He was post up about 10.5 feet away from the basket, which allowed them to double team, hence why all the turnovers.
So in any series, there's a huge difference between being up 3-1 and tied 2-2. So if the Lakers don't come out here and take care of business, in particular scoring the basketball in the paint, then we're in for a long series. Bam is going to bring them a defender, a level of physicality, and now Jimmy Butler has an all-star reinforcement to back up his terrific performance in the previous game. So for Bam, I'm just excited to see him out there, and hopefully he can be productive.
Yeah, a much-needed punch to what they need. But if you look at how they played the last game, you saw that Butler constantly got to the rim, and that was because they had Olenek, who could spread the court a little bit more. So they had 5 guys out on the perimeter. Although Bam does give him that physicality, another all-star, that lineup wasn't so bad with Olenek out there because the driving lanes was open and guys were able to get their shots off in the lane. So, but he's definitely a much-needed help.
Do we expect Jimmy Butler to be as offensive as he was in Game 3 when he does have a Bam Adebayo there? He knew that he had to take on a lot of the pressure when you don't have Goran Dragic, when you don't have Bam out there with you.
Like I said, I love all versions of Jimmy, including Big Face Coffee, but they're going to need buckets. They're going to need him to score the basketball, just like the Lakers need LeBron and AD to score, which is going to set it up for the role players. They need Jimmy Butler to score to set it up for his teammates.
And also, you know, look, another guy has stepped up every game in this series, right? In Boston series, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson made some threes late in the ball game that helped him. So I think you get more shooting from Jay Crowder. It's a collective effort with Miami, but you need Jimmy Butler to be great.
All right, as the show continues, we'll also talk more about the Lakers and the need for Anthony Davis to be even more aggressive. Only 9 shots in Game 3 and 15 points. But one of the superstars that we've been watching
on blessings. Thanks to Big Sean. Welcome to NBA Countdown. We're coming to you live from the Seaport Studios here at Pier 17, presented by Chase. I'm Cassidy Hubbard, alongside a legend himself, our NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. Game 4 of the NBA Finals coming your way, but let's catch up on how we got to this point. And the Lakers, look, they dominated Game 1 as Anthony Davis scored 34 points in his Finals debut. However, Miami lost 2 of their key players as well, in Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo. Get updates on them in just a bit. Neither of them played in Game 2, but the Heat's offense improved, scoring 114 points. It was not enough as LeBron and Davis combined for 65 points. The Lakers improved to 20-1 when those two score at least 60. Now, down Dragic and Adebayo again, the Heat frustrated Davis, limiting him to 15 points. And Jimmy Butler had one of the best games in Finals history, recording 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists. So just how impressive was that performance from Butler? He became the 3rd player in Finals history to lead all players on both teams in points, rebounds, and assists outright. The other players to do that, LeBron James, who did this twice in 2015, and Shaquille O'Neal. So, Woj, the Heat were able to get one without Dragic and Adebayo. What more can you tell us about their status for tonight's game?
Well, great news for the Heat tonight. Bam Adebayo is active. He is going to play tonight. That neck injury, that shoulder strain, his range of motion has improved. Some of the pain has subsided. And he plays tonight, and that's a huge factor for a Miami team trying to deal with the size and strength on that Laker front line. But Goran Dragic who tried to warm up in that with that left foot, that plantar fascia. He is out tonight. He just is unable to go side to side right now. We may be hard-pressed to see Dragic in this series.
Yeah, and we saw how emotional he was that he's not being able to play in these finals. But with Bam active tonight, how effective can the Heat expect him to be in this game?
Well, you know, it's his left side. He's a right-handed player, and that is helpful. I think the question for Adebayo and what they really can't know is what happens when he starts to get significant physical contact, when he's banging with Dwight Howard, LeBron James. How does that shoulder hold up, the neck? But this is a very tough-minded, physical player, second-team all-defensive in the NBA this year. He brings a huge presence back to this Heat lineup and gives them a lot of hope that they could tie this series up tonight. Yeah,
he's arguably been the Heat's best player in this bubble, so definitely another added boost for this Heat team coming off a win. And guys, we're now crossing the 10-week mark since the regular season resumed in the Orlando bubble. No positive tests, 2 teams left, and that's where we find Rachel Nichols and Richard Jefferson on the court ahead of Game 4.
Thanks so much, Cassidy. We got Bam Adebayo warming up right behind us, Richard, and Woj says he is playing tonight. How do you think that is going to change things for the Miami Heat?
Well, I think it's huge. They're getting their most important player back. I think Jimmy Butler is probably their best player, but I think Bam Adebayo is their most important player. But for me, the one thing I want to see is how the rest of the players are going to adjust around him. They have a little bit of a rhythm going after these 2.5 games that he's missed. You look at a guy like Kelly Olynyk has been averaging 20 points a game in the last 2. So I want to see the adjustments and how they all kind of mix together. And lastly, Duncan Robinson. We talked about Duncan Robinson and his struggles at shooting, but I think getting Bam back and his ability to roll will open up some shots for Duncan Robinson.
Absolutely. All right, well, as long as we're talking about bigs, let's go to the other side in the Lakers. AD did not have a good Game 3. Lots of foul trouble, but just 9 shots too. Not aggressive enough. What do you expect to change for him in the next game?
Well, hopefully, you know, the addition of Bam Adebayo might wake up Anthony Davis like, oh, wait. No, I'm being serious. It's like, hey, I need to come to play tonight because he did not come to play. You look at the 11 turnovers in the first quarter. Bron and AD turning the ball over. That means you're not focused. You're not playing the locked-in type of game. So I want to see Anthony Davis come out and be aggressive. That means offensive rebounding, getting to the front of the rim. I've said this before. It is really awesome that your 7-footer can shoot step-back 15-footers, but his dominance near the rim and rebounding is where he's going to be most effective against this Heat.
So the Lakers had a Game 3 that was not like the first 2 games. Is that we're going to look back and find that being an anomaly, or is that going to be a trend in this series?
Well, truth be told, we're going to find out tonight. And that's one of the things that when you look at the entire, series, the Heat have been playing better every single game. Right. And so, we're going to see if the Lakers can stop that kind of flow.
You've played on a LeBron James team before. How does he come out the game after it's not his best performance?
Well, I think he's going to be aggressive, but he has so much responsibility. He's got to get players involved, mainly Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis is going to get a lot of touches in this first quarter, and he also wants to get his shooters involved. So he's going to be aggressive, but also he's got that responsibility of making sure that his main guys get going early because that opens up things for him late.
All right, well, looking for that at the top of the game. Back to you guys in Seaport. Take it away, Cass.
Thanks, Rachel. You heard them talk about it. AD, he struggled in Game 3, but, afterwards, he said he wasn't worried. He said, trust me.
And the Lakers lost.
You noticed in that first quarter about just the general way the team was playing and the turnovers that surprised you, and how did that play out for the rest of the game?
No, I mean, we know that we can't turn the ball over versus this team. They're very active defensively. And it starts with myself being the starting point guard of the team. Having 5 first half turnovers, 8 total for the game is can't do that obviously because it gives them more possessions. It doesn't allow us to set our defense, and they're really, really good offensively. So you just can't turn the ball over versus that team, and I'll take full responsibility for that.
You've had a 40-point triple-double in the finals before. Just wondered what you thought of Jimmy's effort tonight and how you guys need to defend him better or differently in Game 4.
I thought Jimmy was phenomenal. He did everything that they needed for him to do tonight, and he came through big time in a big-time game. And we'll watch the film and see ways we can be better going into Game 4. But I thought he was great.
LeBron, Anthony got into some foul trouble early and had a little trouble getting going. What did you see happening with him? And just that. What did you see happening with him?
I mean, you just said it. He got into some foul trouble, and they even, one of the shots that he made when he had 4 fouls, they still try to slide up underneath him and get him a 5th and a 3rd. So, I think the foul trouble made him a little passive, because he wanted to be out on the floor, but he couldn't be his aggressive self, offensively and defensively.